Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be sharing my really easy, super convenient and yummy recipe of spaghetti. This is spaghetti in ground beef sauce. I made it today and some sprinkles, some marble cheese right on top. So super yummy, super delicious. I personally find it spaghetti in sauce, like mince meat sauce, much more yummier than spaghetti and meatball, but it's just my preference. It's just so easy for the kids to eat and so easy to make. These are all the ingredients you guys will need for this recipe. The first thing we have is ground beef over here. I'm using ground beef. You guys can use mince meat, or if you guys want to use chicken mince, that's totally fine too. So I have about 1 kg of ground beef. Here we have our spices. I have red crushed chilies, and we have here about 1 tablespoon. We have 1 tablespoon of salt. We have ground black pepper, 1 tablespoon, and over here we have ginger garlic paste. I'm gonna be scooping 2 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste from here. I have diced onions medium size, and I have over here tomato paste, and I froze this is frozen, so it's about 3 tablespoons, I would say. It's frozen. And here I have some original pasta sauce. I'm not really sure how much I'm going to be using, but I just want my pasta, my mince, to be super saucy. And here I have parsley. I'm going to be eyeballing this as well, about a tablespoon, not too much. This is the spaghetti I'm going to be using, which is 900 grams. So for these ingredients, you're going to need about 900 grams of pasta spaghetti. And here I have this big pot. I like to use this pot for my spaghetti because the quantity is a lot, and I have about half cup of oil in here. So I'm gonna leave my oil to heat up nice and hot. So I'm just gonna be waiting here for that. And here I have some water. I fill up this pot. This is quite a big pot for my spaghetti, and yeah, we're gonna be waiting for it to heat up quite well. And I'm also adding some salt in here for my spaghetti. So I'm adding 2 teaspoon of salt in here. So give it a stir, and then just leave it for up until it's hot enough. Even if it's not boiling, that's totally fine, but it should be hot enough for the spaghetti. So we're gonna get started with this pot. First of all, we're gonna add our onions in here. So my oil is nice and hot, and now we're gonna add our onions in here, and we're not gonna brown our onions at all. We're just gonna saute them. We're just gonna wait for it for up until they just change their colors a little bit, like they're just kind of like a little transparent, kind of translucent, kind of. So as you can see in this clip, right like this. At this stage, we're gonna add our ginger garlic paste in here, which is about 2 tablespoons, I would say. We're not gonna cook this as well. We're just gonna mix it with our onions really well. So make sure to put your heat on a little bit low, because you don't want to burn your ginger garlic. But as soon as you start smelling your ginger garlic, that's gonna be the time to add next ingredients. So give it about quite couple of seconds to mix it really well and to start smelling the aromatics. Now I'm adding all the spices: black pepper, salt, crushed red chilies, and my parsley. So we're gonna add our parsley, and it's about I would say 1 tablespoon of parsley. So now we have all our spices in here, and our ginger garlic and onion. We're gonna, on medium heat, keep stirring it up until I would say about 30 seconds. So then they're cooked, really well cooked. And after 30 seconds, we're gonna go ahead and add our ground beef in here. So if you're using ground beef like me, make sure to turn your heat on high. The reason we need to turn our heat on high now, because we don't want our meat to start releasing the water. So if you're using ground beef or chicken or whatever, make sure to turn your heat on high. It's really, really important, because if your meat start releasing the water, then you are gonna end up with your pasta in really dry meat. So every time you take a bite, it's gonna be, your meat is gonna be really dry, and yeah, nobody like that. It's just, you want to have juicy meat in there in your pasta. So if you're using ground beef or minced meat, make sure your heat is high, and try to break all these big lumps as much as you can. So that's what I am doing in this clip, and brown it and fry it in your other ingredients up until it changes its color. So as you guys can see in this clip, there is still that pink kind of color in my ground beef. So I am just on high heat, keep stirring it, so then even if it releases some water, it evaporated quickly. And make sure to give it a good mix and keep breaking those, because you don't want you want all the smell and the kind of raw taste out of your ground beef. So that's exactly what I am doing here. I am just on high heat, crushing all the big lumps and getting rid of all this redness I see. As I flip it every time, you can see that the meat keep changing colors. So there is still a little bit left, but it took me about 10 to 15 minutes to get rid of all of the redness, all the pink. Now I don't see any pink. There's a little bit of oil, water in the bottom, which just give it a couple of extra minutes, and once that disappear, then just move on with your next step. So here my ground beef is completely ready, and now here my water is also ready. So I add a little bit of oil, I would say 3 tablespoons of oil in the water, and I start adding my pasta in here. And the reason I add oil in there, so my pasta won't stick together once it's done boiling. This is a really good pasta. This spaghetti usually doesn't stick together, but I still add a little bit of oil, because why not? If the spaghetti get all stick together, then that's a disaster. So make sure to add a little bit of oil in there, so then your spaghetti won't stick together. So right now you can see my spaghetti is too long for the pot, but as it starts cooking from the bottom, it's gonna go all the way in, which I'm gonna show you in this clip. But right now let's go back to our ground beef, which is ready. So my meat is completely ready. It dried up all the water. I don't smell any a raw kind of smell from my meat. So it's all good, it's all ready. Now I am gonna go ahead and add my tomato paste in here, which is about 3 tablespoons. So not too much. I personally don't like too much of the tomato paste taste in my pasta, but if you guys like it, go ahead and instead of 3 tablespoons, just add more than that, whatever you like. And I forgot to mention, I also want to add paprika in here for the color and for the taste. So I add about 1 teaspoon of paprika powder into this. As you guys can see, it's instantly changed the color of the meat. So it's really, really good for the color, for the spaghetti color, and as well as the flavor and the taste. So mix it really well, and for about 5 minutes, I would say, keep stirring it on medium heat up until all the tomato paste is really well cooked into the meat. Afterwards, I'm just adding my sauce. So a little bit at a time, I'm gonna add the sauce, the pasta sauce, up until I feel like, my pasta is really gonna be saucy pasta. So I'm keep adding more and more pasta sauce in here up until my ground beef is really like a saucy kind of texture. So I don't measure this part really. I'm not really sure how to measure it. That's why I have those big cans of big bottles of pasta sauce because I like it saucy. Here in this clip, you guys can see that my spaghetti start cooking and it's going down. So just take your tongs and just make it all the way to the bottom and give it a stir, and all your spaghettis is in the water right now, as you guys can see in this clip, and give it a good mix. You want all the oil to coat all your spaghetti, and if you don't give it a mix, it's gonna be a lumpy spaghetti at the end and it's gonna be all stick together, which you really don't want that to happen. Here my sauce is ready, and as you guys can see, it's kind of that kind of sauce. So I don't put way too much sauce in there. I just don't like the sauce to be dripping out of my spaghetti. I just dry it a little bit and let it cook for about, I would say, a good 10 to 15 minutes. So all my meat is really well cooked in there, which is already done on really low heat. Do not turn your heat too high because otherwise all your meat is going to be burned. So it should look like this. Once it starts releasing a little bit of oil, that's where you know it's ready. Here my spaghetti, and it's ready. You don't want to overcook it. It should look like this. It should still be like this. You can easily stir it, and then you make sure that it won't break, otherwise it's going to be too soft. So I strain all the water out of my spaghetti, and here is my sauce. That's the reason I use big pot, because we're going to add our spaghetti in there too, so make sure to use a big pot. My sauce is ready. It's on medium heat right now. I just like to put all my meat on the side and put my pasta on the other side. That's how I personally find it super easy to stir. If it's the other kind of pasta, then it's easy, but if it's spaghetti, then it's a little bit hard to stir. Even if I put all the sauce right on top, I still find it pretty hard. So I'm gonna be stirring this for a while, and while I'm stirring this, my heat is still on medium. So I'm stirring it, and my heat is on because I want my pasta to cook even more. I always boil my pasta to the point where it's not super duper cooked, like 100%. I just leave a little bit, like that 5% off. So I cook it kind of about around 95%, I would say. And you can just get it, by making as, by cooking more, and that's how you're gonna figure this out, that how much time it requires. So I kind of cook it up until when it's like 95% cooked, and then afterwards I just mix it with my sauce and then let it cook for additional, I would say, 10 more minutes. And it's still cooking while it's mixing in the pot with the sauce. So here it is. My pasta is absolutely looking yummy, and I'm just serving it out a little bit to show you guys how it actually look like in the plate. So that's how it looked like, and it's ready. So if you don't like any cheese, just leave it as it is. It's ready to eat. If you like cheese, just go ahead and put some cheese on top. My kids, they love cheese, so I'm definitely gonna be sprinkling some cheese right on top. I'm using marble cheese. It's a good blend of white and yellow cheese. So some of them they like white cheese, some of them they like yellow cheese. So I personally find marble cheese is a good thing to have in hand, so then you have both of them in there. So here is my spaghetti with ground beef meat sauce. It's ready, and it's super yummy, super delicious. And I also freeze this, so it's extremely convenient to freeze this. That's why I usually make it in bulks, because it's super easy to freeze them in kids' lunch boxes, and they love it for lunch, and it's even for dinners. Like, it's super easy and convenient. Just come and you know, just defrost it and thaw it, and then it's super easy and convenient dinner. So here I actually put it in a big dish so everyone can eat it out of it, and I sprinkle a lot of cheese right on top. So hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Let me know in comments what kind of pasta do you guys make. I love to hear from you guys, and hope you guys like this recipe. I'll see you guys next in my other video. Bye.